So, welcome everyone. This is another episode of the Perfect Practice Podcast. I'm Aron, a coach, advisor, and a practitioner here in the Perfect Practice Mentorship. And today we have one of our amazing students, Tabitha, here with us to share her experience going through our accelerator program and to celebrate her wins and to also be an inspiration to anyone who is just getting started in their practice. If you're a functional medicine practitioner, health coach, in the lifestyle and wellness medicine realm, this is our community. So Tabitha, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So I'd love for you to give everyone an idea of, what's your background and who do you love to serve?
Well, I received my master certified health coach or health coach certification in June. And so I have been building my practice since then. I just recently left my job at the local government at the city I grew up in. So my corporate background is in purchasing, but I am going through a transformation and I am moving towards doing health coaching full time.
Amazing. And was there something that inspired you to make that change? Because you go from purchasing to coaching people and helping people with their most important asset seems like a jump. So what was that motivation for you? What was that aha moment? Like, I got to do something different.
For me, it probably started in my childhood. I was born with heart disease. And so early in my lifetime, I realized that it was really important to eat healthy for a healthy heart. And so I changed the way that I ate and then started influencing people around me. I actually convinced my parents to buy a juicer when I was like 13 so we could start juicing and told them that we needed to eat organic fruits and vegetables and we needed to eat organic meats and started changing my family's diet just because of how passionate I was about being healthy and staying heart healthy. And so then it kind of turned into a passion to help other people. I've just noticed that I was giving a lot of free advice. And then it was during COVID that I realized that I could turn that into a profession and help a lot of people and get my message out. And it just became more and more apparent how dire the message is. And so that's when I started my health coach certification. I was home and needed something to do. And so I turned my passion into my profession.
And that's a great story, and one that's quite common. Like, we often, when we find this profession, the helping, the health and wellness profession, it comes from a personal story, a motivation, a passion. You were ahead of your time at what, 12, 13, promoting juicing and organic food. So that's amazing. It was your calling.
Yes. Well, I saw a Juice Man infomercial and he had all this energy and he was like 70 years old. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to be like when I'm 70. So it was inspiring.
We stand on the shoulders of juice guys. Amazing. So you got your certification last summer, right? June last
Mhm.
summer. And
Yes.
so as you were starting and you're embarking, often certification is just the beginning. So what did you encounter personally as you got your certification? How did you start your business? Like, what was that? What were the origins of Tabitha's coaching business?
So after I got my certification, I learned a lot during the 9 months that it took just about food and how to coach people and to promote behavior change. But I came out without having anything concrete to offer my clients. And so I knew I was going to have to come up with a step-by-step process, something that was simple for people to follow, because it's so overwhelming and all of the marketing is confusing and people are really confused on what to eat and what diet they should follow. And so I knew that I didn't want to necessarily follow any of the fad diets. But that I would need to offer something to my clients to follow. So I came across the perfect practice. There was a weekend training that was happening in July right after I got my certification, and so it felt like perfect timing to jump in and learn what other practitioners were offering, and that's when I learned about the accelerator program and the metabolic and lifestyle reset.
Amazing. And so you seem to intuitively know, like, oh, I need an offer.
Mhm.
I need a service. So did you try anything before, like before you found the accelerator? Were you doing things before to like grow your practice? Did you work with any clients to start? Did you like hit
So
any roadblocks in the process of like building your practice?
I did. So I started working with a client right away. And I quickly found that just meeting and trying to set goals and provide support week after week, we weren't really moving the needle like I was expecting. I thought I was so excited to just share my knowledge and encourage and promote and it just felt like every week we were kind of having the same conversation because I didn't have a path to follow. So all of the, encouragement and setting goals is great, but if you don't have step-by-step process for clients to follow, sometimes they can get stuck in this loop and it's hard to know how to help them get out of it. And so I personally have tried quite a few elimination diets and knew the importance of having something individualized because people react differently to food. Some people don't do well with certain things, like gluten is a really big buzzword that a lot of people don't do well with. And so I knew that there were certain foods to avoid, but I didn't have anything that I could walk my clients through. And so I did find that I was kind of stuck and I didn't know how to get out of that cycle.
Okay. And so once you went through the accelerator, what would you say, like, what were some of the personal transformations that you experienced? What did you get? How did it help your practice?
So I went through the metabolic reset and my mom did it with me. I had a buddy and we both lost 20 pounds and it was incredible how simple. Like it's not easy, but it was so simple. And one of the things that I found w- was the easiest for me to transform through is the food recipes that were provided were so simple to make. I was easy to prep food. It wasn't like I had to make all these different recipes that were complicated. It was very simple, easy to follow. And so that was a transformation on how I eat. I've always been a healthy eater, but the process of measuring and knowing exactly how to put things together and the flavor of the food, you get bored sometimes eating healthy food and knowing how to flavor it properly. And so it was a great resource and I've continued to make the recipes and continue to eat that way even well after here. I think I finished the reset in September and I'm still eating that way.
Right. And so that's your personal transformation. And one of the most important things that we know for any service or product we recommend, how the only way you can know if you can trust it and have conviction is to go through the process yourself. What more evidence do you need than a really strong personal experience that, yes, it doesn't have to be complicated. Yes, it helps me, and it helps my mom. They say the three F's when you learn something in the medical world is like friends, family, and fools. But I mean, we don't assume people are fools, but we need to kind of see the evidence to be able to promote it with conviction. And
Absolutely, and it definitely gave me confidence, because you try different diets and they work for some people and not for others, and for it to both work for us at the same time, I was like, "Okay, so this works. Here's my concrete proof," and I have been confident to offer it to people because I've been through it and know what people are gonna experience, but also with the support of the community, I have been able to take multiple clients through the process and have had the same result. And so far, all of my clients that I've taken through the reset have lost 20 pounds or more.
wow. And would you say their primary goal was weight loss, or did they experience other things? Or what else did your clients experience going through a metabolic reset?
So, some of the biggest things and the most common trends are ending sugar cravings. People were so addicted to sugar and they didn't even realize how addicted to sugar that they were until they didn't have it anymore. And so that was the biggest feedback that I've gotten is breaking sugar cravings and the need to constantly eat and snack. People didn't realize how often they were eating. And also when they were preparing meals for their children, how much they were sampling things and eating, they how much it added up. And so also sleep was a really big thing. People were sleeping better and the mental fog. It was like around week 2 when the sugar cravings ended and people's minds were clear and their skin was more clear and just like even like the whites of their eyes were whiter. So you could tell that it was just all around the cells were replacing themselves and becoming healthier and you could see it in their faces.
So it's just like vitality, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes I think, people are looking for weight loss, but they
Mhm.
experience more when we address their nutrition, how they take care of themselves. In my
Mhm.
world, the naturopathic world, we always talk about the foundations of health. So this program really is how you address the foundations of health, teach people skill. They're becoming more self-aware, and we are just the guide, right? We're not giving them a
Mhm.
diet. We're not forcing them to eat certain things. There's no powders, there's no pills you have to take. uh,
Right.
so how was that experience guiding clients through a process and maybe not having to come up with the process yourself? Did you notice a transformation in how you worked with clients?
Absolutely. There was just this flow. I knew every week what to talk about, what to offer, because I was coached through the process. I knew how to encourage them. And when people were feeling that FOMO, everybody else gets to eat whatever they want and I have to eat this certain thing. I knew exactly how to support them and what to say because I not only had I gone through it, but I'd been receiving coaching throughout the process as well. And so I had a good example. Alice was amazing and she was always so encouraging and um, non-judgmental. It was never like, oh, this is bad or good. And so it was such a great example of how I could support my clients and I used a lot of the same language to support my clients to know um, how to come across as encouraging and supporting. Because you talk a lot about using affirmations and things like that in the coaching process, but not exactly how to encourage people. And so receiving that encouragement taught me what to say, but also it helped me to be more mindful. And I found that I was more present and just more aware because I'd gone through the process and then everything was laid out for me. So I could identify things and know how to handle it because everything was already provided and I had all this guidance. But then when I did get tripped up, I could go into the Facebook group and ask a question. And within an hour, less than that, I was receiving responses not only from um, the Perfect Practice team, but also my fellow cohorts. And so the support that you receive is worth it.
Right. So I think that's another way that we realize, we all learn by modeling. And
Hmm.
one of the things I know, if you've ever tried to create something from scratch, you're pulling things out of thin air to a certain degree, right? And it is possible. People have created services and offers that have worked. But if your training is not to create programs and services, you can get stuck. Uh, you
Hmm.
can just be spinning your wheels. So that's why, you went through the program and you were able to see a modeling of how the program was delivered. This is a real offer that the Living Proof Institute is delivering. And so we learn with our mirror neurons. We learn by watching and observing, and our clients, your clients, learn by observing and watching you. So I could probably imagine your clients starting to repeat some of the encouragement to the people around them, right?
Yes.
Their family members, their children, their partners.
I did receive that feedback from a couple of my clients that it made them realize what they were feeding their children and how they were talking to their children about food and about body image and just about different things. Like we really address affirmations and positive talk. And so it made them just more aware of how they're speaking to themselves and their family.
Right. That's amazing. Right.
Hmm.
So let's kind of change gears a little bit. So the accelerator gave you this program to basically take the program, make it your own, be the guide. So let's talk about maybe your practice transformation, some of the specific, like the more specific you can be about like the results that you're proud of for the actual business, the practice. Where have you gone and since going through the accelerator?
So I have been able to take so many clients through the program that I was able to quit my job 2 weeks ago and focus on this full time. I have been able to make my investment back, and it's definitely the number one thing that I offer. I mean, I offer all of my services, but that's the one thing that most people want. It's the highest ticket item that I offer, and it's the one I sell the most of. Um, Anything I present, it's usually the metabolic reset that people want to do. And so I've pretty much completely changed my practice to offer that. Not exclusively because I do offer other things, but since that's the main thing people want, I've been focusing on that. So I have been able to grow my practice and quit my job and do this full time. So it's completely changed my practice, like my whole life, really. So it's a life changer.
Amazing. In a relatively short period of time, right? And
Less than a year. I was shocked. I had some pretty aggressive goals. I was ready to do this. And so yeah, I definitely could have done it differently, but I'm glad I did it as quick as I did because I just wanted to jump all in and really focus on this and get my message out. The need is great, and I feel comfortable and confident to offer this exclusively. And so that's what I've been doing.
very cool. So if there was a feature or benefit of the accelerator that really stands out to you as that having been like your favorite thing or the most valuable to you personally, was there something that stood out to you?
Um, Mainly the first thing that comes to mind is the recordings that you get. Because I was working full time and I was managing 9 people, and I just didn't have the capacity to be at class every time that there was a class. Having the recordings was so helpful. I'm still going back and watching them over and over again, and I mean, it's literal step by step guides on how to do things. Now that I've kind of changed a little bit as I offer the program more and hone in on my message and what I want to say to people, I'm rewatching the trainings and then tweaking my message and tweaking my notes and doing some of the things completely over again because I'm in a different place than I was when I first started. So having that, I feel like is invaluable. I have gone back and rewatched them over and over again. And then the question and answer, just everything that's recorded has been so helpful. And then all the templates, you don't have to rewrite everything. You don't have to start from scratch and type it all up. Like being able to just pull the templates into Canva and update the parts that I need to put my logo on it. I mean, I can do it in minutes and it's ready to go and publish.
Right. I want to acknowledge you for that one being a great, like a highly coachable person. Like these are the few things I heard. So even if there's still a lot more to implement, you kept making progress. Like you were very focused on what you wanted to do, which was help people work with real clients, charge something for those services. And even if it's not perfect, you're going back and making it, improving things as you go. So what would you say, is there a mindset that you have going through a program like this? Like, how are you approaching it as a student? And how are you ensuring like you're going to get as much out of this experience as you can?
Well, I guess at first I kind of bounced around and was like looking for what was going to be the most helpful in my situation. So I wanted to make sure I got the marketing piece down. I wanted to make sure I knew how to use the templates, how to create my story, and how to communicate it. And so I focused on those things. But I guess now that I'm more comfortable and I kind of understand how the process works, going through it from beginning to end is how I'm approaching it now. So at the beginning, I was kind of like, okay, I need this, I need this, I need to just get started. So these are the pieces I'm gonna hold on to at first. And then once I had those down, then I could kind of broaden my perspective on the other things that will help support my clients and myself as I continue to grow. So because there's so much information, I started to feel a little overwhelmed just personally because I had so much going on in my life. And so being able to come back to the trainings when I'm more rested and rewatch them, I think that was really helpful for me, to really hone in on the message that I was trying to create, taking what was provided and then making my own voice out of it. Did I
So
answer your question?
yeah,
Is there anything?
you
Okay.
did. Like, what I'm hearing is, again, being selective and not feeling like you need to do everything. So I will one of our sayings at Perfect Practice, it's better to be overwhelmed than underwhelmed, right? So we do actually provide a lot of tools, and a business does not grow in 3 months from like zero to where you want it to be. Right? It's an infinite game, and so we give so many tools that are available. But I think, as you know, as you put on your entrepreneur hat, your business owner hat, there has to be some discernment. There has to be some you have to be a little bit selective. You have to take care of yourself at the same time and kind of make progress without feeling that guilt or shame that you need to do everything perfectly. So
Yes, and I say that to myself a lot. Progress, not perfection. And that's definitely something I've heard through the program as well. And I think that's helped me not to judge myself and not to feel like I have to do it perfectly the first time. I can just try it and see what works and keep what's working and then let go of the rest.
that's how we move the fastest. by by it's not always going to be pretty, but yeah, right. Are there things that you would have changed? You know, did things go perfectly your first round with your clients? Was there something that was there like a goof up, a little gaff up like that you remember that happened that maybe didn't that you survived?
Um, I'm trying to think of anything big. I honestly try not to hold on to things like that and beat myself up about it, but I can definitely say that I didn't communicate the message clearly at first. There were some misunderstandings, and so one of the things that I did, because I valued the Facebook group that were provided and the support, I created a Facebook group for all of my clients to be able to support each other, but also to communicate. And so there were a few times I would have to go out and be like, "Hey, I said this. It's actually this," and correct what I said. Um, and so I would say maybe that, like, just I wanted so badly to give them the correct information and to be clear and concise. And there were times when that didn't happen. And so I just posted the true, correct thing and just, you know, told them I was sorry for misinformation and this is the truth. So I guess that's the only thing that really stands out is, I didn't necessarily communicate my message perfectly, but I was able to correct it when I needed to.
And that's the most important thing sometimes, you know, like we all make mistakes. And if we have the integrity and the transparency, the humility to say, hey, I messed up, it's actually this, you actually build a lot more trust with clients and people around you.
Nobody shamed me. Nobody was like, "Oh, quit. You gave me bad information."
Give my money back.
I didn't have anybody ask for their money back.
Amazing. Well, Tabitha, if you were talking to someone who was maybe on the fence, who was hesitant about doing something like the accelerator, what would you tell them? Or maybe it was a younger version of yourself, an early version of yourself. What would you say?
Definitely invest in yourself. I viewed this as an investment. I presented it that way to my accountant. And I mean, this was the biggest investment I could have made in my business. It has grown my business and myself exponentially. The support and just the group that you become a part of, it's difficult to find, especially where I lived, like-minded people in the same space like this. And just to have the support from the team and the plug and play program, I mean, I literally put it into Canva, changed the logos at first, and started sharing it until I figured out a better way. And so you can use it right out of the box, and it's an investment in yourself and your business, and it's definitely one that that I recommend, and I would do it again.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Tabitha. I want to acknowledge you for all your progress. I mean, this is really just the beginning, and I'm sure you feel that way. And what are
Mhm.
you most excited about kind of moving forward?
I am most excited about helping more people. I see definitely I'm in Texas, and so there's a huge need in Texas for um, just health and mindfulness and bringing people back inside of their bodies and trusting their inner wisdom. And so I am most excited about sharing that message and getting the word out and being an impact, a healthy impact on people's lives.
And that's a great place to close out our conversation. So I want to thank you again, Tabitha.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, it's been a pleasure. And for anyone watching this, if you're interested in our accelerator, there will be information in the links below, and you can reach out to myself, one of our team, and we'd be happy to help. So Tabitha, thank you so much. The best is yet to come.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
We're excited for you.